Okay, hello everybody. Ethan here again, and we're doing the May AMA, and I'm trying to figure out how to let some of you talk so it's not just me talking all the time on the stage. Yeah, so if any of you guys know how to let me, I guess, unmute you or allow you to talk, yeah, please let me know. Wanted to start off and just kind of go over some hardcore facts. Sagib and I talked about the halvening and how miner profitability is going to change significantly, and when that does, that's going to cause a lot of machines to unplug. And if you look here, I've got my hosting comparison app that's on our A6Z website. We've got lots of really cool tools like that to use on our website. If you haven't poked around, I'd like to encourage you guys to go to the website, poke around. You do have to register an email address to poke around with our tools, but it's well worth it. We don't spam you or anything like that. It's just to help us create a database of people to where we can grow our community and our users. And again, we don't send out any newsletters or anything like that. It's just to help us kind of keep track of the metrics of who is using our tools and how many people and how useful they are. This tool itself, the hosting comparison tool, I took it down for about a month, and I had like 20 people beg me to bring it back up on the website, to bring it back online. Apparently, it was very useful for them. And so here it is. You guys are able to play with it now that I've put it back on the website. But basically, what I'm seeing here is anybody that has a higher than 5.5 cent power cost, which is kind of unheard of these days, and anybody running a machine that is not an S19 Pro Series or better is not making any money right now. And that's a lot of machines. I can't tell you right off the top of my head, but if I had to guess, I would say at least 30 to 40% of all the hash rate that is currently running or that was running is not running at a profit. And what does this mean? So there's a delayed response to how this works. Usually they will run 1 month without profit, but when it comes to that second month, that's when they start to unplug. So we're going to probably see them run out to the end of May, and then June or July, we're going to see an enormous amount of hash rate disconnect. And that's kind of got my gears spinning of what I can do to kind of help keep these machines running. I mean, obviously, for Monopoly, it's a great situation to have machines unplug because as the difficulty decreases, we will then get more earnings because we're doing most of the work on the network. So there's always an upside and a downside to things, right? So the upside is it's good for the Monopoly project for other people to unplug. The downside is, when more people unplug, then we're going to have like a desperate rush for, people that have access to cheap power, which are people like me. And I've already got the dance card full. I wanted to give you guys an update on what's going with Cobra mining. Obviously, we've had a natural disaster here in the UAE, and that has set things back. How far has it set things back? I cannot tell you because this has never happened before. It's not like, we just have a standard protocol of what we're going to default to. And I don't know really the extent of the damage. I do know that, especially in the rural areas where, we do our operations, those were affected more than, the city infrastructures and things like that, which the cities were given the immediate attention and then they kind of worked their way out. But I'm doing everything I can in my power, talking with landowners, talking with people with available power to see if I can secure that power and use it for that project. Beyond that, one of the landowners has introduced me to his contractor that he uses for all of his power upgrades, and he assures me that he can get things done quickly. He can make things move, very fast. The initial electrical contractor that I was using, the engineering firm, they're a great firm, but I don't think they have The experience, I think they do more like substation work and inner city work. They don't really do the rural power upgrades. Oh, goodness. Okay, I've got it like a phone call here. So for them, going through the normal channels and things like that, it is taking some time. I don't know what Rope has explained or anything of what's going on with Cobra mining. Can anybody give me an update? I've been trying to update you guys in the Minopoly channel, but I'm sure there's some people that are in Roop's channel that are not in the Minopoly channel. Does anybody have any questions or anything? Okay, no questions. Where we are currently is I've already leased a plot of land. I've already put in the power upgrade request. The request was denied because at a substation down the line, they have to upgrade the transformer so it can deliver more power to have an upgrade on site. And we're waiting for that substation upgrade so we can have our site approved for the additional load. How long will that take? Everybody wants to know. I don't know, guys. I have no idea. It's not in my hands. It's not in my power. It's up to the power company. And obviously, they're under a lot of pressure right now, just trying to get the existing things back up and running. I've been told that there's possibly a shortage of transformers on their side, so they put in a big order. And that's going to take time to get, hundreds or even thousands of machine or transformers into the UAE. Typically, shipping times from China to the UAE is about a month to a month and a half. But my guess is they probably put in an order like already maybe a month ago, so it may not be that long. I don't know. These are things that are outside of the scope of my business. I am not working for the power company, so I don't have access to any of their information on what their inventories are or when inventories are coming out. I don't know about any of those things. All I know is from my end is I pick a plot of land that has distribution running to it, and then I submit the request to upgrade the power to the land. And then once that's approved, then I build the power room and I build out the mining space, and that's what I have control over. Okay, so Rebel, you're saying that the mic is suppressed on the host side. And again, I can see it's got a little mute icon, but I have no ability to unmute you. I can maybe focus to this person. Let's see if that does something. No, that just that just popped you up on the main screen. Yeah. So if you guys, do get a chance to poke around, it's pretty amazing to see what is profitable and what is not profitable these days on our A6Z website. And I can do a quick Google search. I can try to do a Google search or something. Let's see. Okay. Okay, as the stage moderator, you can right-click directly on anonymous. Okay, invite to speak. We'll invite them to become a speaker. So I right-click, and I have no ability to invite you. I can invite you to server, but I have no ability to invite you to speak. And that might be because... There you go, mod view, maybe, what's that? Okay, here we go. Let's see, messages. Permissions. Yeah, I have no ability to invite you to speak. No, it doesn't. It shows that your mic is like crossed out, but it doesn't show that you're muted in any setting that I can see or anything like that. Like when I click on it, I have the option to mute you, but you're not muted. Show non-video participants. Yeah, I'm wondering if maybe only Saqib has the ability to invite because he's like the owner of the Discord channel. So maybe only he has the power to do that. Yeah, Saqib's, he's living his best life. He recently just moved to a new villa. He came over and visited last night, and yeah, he's doing great, guys. I kind of envy him, to be honest with you. But I'm too far deep in love with mining and doing all this stuff, and I've got some crazy good things happening right now. So I can't quit. I can't stop. It's like a drug addiction. I don't know how else to explain it. So I'll give you guys an example here. If we look at one of our workstations, might have to put in a password. Oh, it's good. It's good. So we have this new cool tool that I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Awesome Miner or not. I dabbled with it way back when, and I don't want to say I didn't like it, but it just didn't really impress me because I was able to do things on my own with my own API and things like that. But recently I've gotten back into it and it's become way better than it was before. So I can see at a glance like all the hash rate of all of our machines. I can look on the dashboard. I can see how much power they're drawing, which is really awesome. And I can see that, just like, any kind of glance, the temperature, power drawing, how many machines are running, the profitability per day, that hasn't been set up yet, but I can set that up. And it's just really cool. Like I can go directly, if there's a miner that has a problem, I can go here and I can see like the activity log, what it's been doing, how it's been hashing. Has it been hashing stable? Was its temperatures running stable? Everything. If I need to reboot it, I can also set up like an automatic reboot. So if it notices that it goes offline, and it's just been a stellar, a stellar management tool. So I highly recommend Awesome Miner. You do have to pay a fee. There's two ways you can use it. You can use it with their firmware where you pay part of your hash rate. I don't recommend you do that. I kind of did the math and I found out that it's cheaper just to go ahead and pay cash for it. I went ahead and bought a year in advance. I think you save like 30%, which is worth it for me because I have so many farms and so many operations now. And what's really cool is I can take each one of my individual operations and I can send them up to a cloud to a master control panel. I'm only showing you guys your operation here, but your operation and all the other operations I can send up to a master control panel and I can manage and run everything very efficiently, very effectively through that. Some other things that I've been working on, let me open up Google Chrome here. And I'll go ahead and let's get this. One of the nifty things about Windows is that it's got, yeah, let's do this right there. And I can go to the control folder and I've got this cool control that lets me control the pumps for the cooling curtains. Okay, it's going to say that I'm logged out. Let me log in real quick, guys. I don't know why it needs my like location prefix or my phone number prefix. Like, what are they doing with that? They don't ask for the whole phone number. But I can go in here, I can see what the temperature is running, what the humidity is. I can switch the pump on, I can switch the pump off, and then I can set up automated controls here where here, let's see. Let's move it to, yeah, so I've got these automated conditions here that are set up to where, if it detects a certain condition, it'll turn the pump on. If it detects another condition, it'll turn it off. Not going to go into a lot of depth about what those specific conditions are because that's kind of IP, but suffice to say, every site has its own personality. So if we look between just these two sites, which are about using the metric system, they're about 2 kilometers apart from each other in a straight line. Now, if you drive the road, it's like 6 kilometers, but in a straight line, they're about 2 kilometers apart from each other. But you can see the temperature and the humidity differences, right? Because they're at different elevations. Speaking of humidity, I have to apologize. The beard is like really bushy and curly today because the air is so humid here. But you can see that there's, a significant temperature and humidity difference between the two sites. Just for general knowledge about mining, miners like to operate in 80% or less humidity. You really don't want to see your miners operating in 80% or more humidity. The spec for Bitmain says 90% non-condensing. I would not feel comfortable running a machine in 90% humidity for any prolonged period of time, maybe briefly, but we do strategic things with our farms and controlling our airflow and controlling our water curtains to ensure that we stay within 80% or less humidity. And you can see both sites are running at, one's running at 68.3, the other one's running at 70.5, and they're both within spec temperature-wise. Now, the miners are a lot more forgiving with temperature than they are with humidity. They have lots of sensors and things like that will shut them down, put them in sleep mode if they overheat. So you don't really have to worry. I mean, obviously for optimal hash rate, you want them in a good temperature, but you don't have to worry about like temperature damaging the machines as much as you do about the humidity. The humidity is the main thing that you really have to worry about, that you really have to be concerned about. We do have one machine that's offline. You can see the little blank spot right there. It is being repaired and it should be repaired soon. Another thing I'd like to point out, guys, is the miners we bought were M50 118 terahash. And as you can see on the dashboard here, all of them are doing over 118 terahash. I think this one's doing 121. This one's doing 124. Here's another one doing 124. None of them are even doing 118. And that's because, I haven't put any firmware or anything in them. They still have warranty on them. So I haven't put any firmware or tuned them or, done any setting changes or anything like that. I've just been running good operations and the machines are happy, and you can see they're happy by hashing more than what they're rated to do. Okay, Rebel is saying, apparently you go to user settings, voice and video, then scroll down to advanced, and then you can disable noise suppression. Okay, so I'm going to go to my user settings. Is that what I'm supposed to do? Go to my user settings, which I'm doing. Okay. And then voice and video. And then, let's see, voice activity, automatically determine. Sound enhancements, choose a sound. Advanced. We'll go to automatic gain control. Attenuation. There's so many settings. Let's see. Screen name, capture, debugging. I do not see that setting. Let's see. Let's check here. Inputs to the soundboard volume. Entrance sounds. Okay. I am not seeing that at all. We've got video codec, hardware acceleration, noise suppression. Okay, I'm gonna do none. That's looking pretty scary. I hope you guys can see this. Okay, advanced, turning this off may help if your voice is not being detected by the automatic input. Okay, and okay. audio subsystem, standard, legacy, experimental. Okay. Yeah, the noise suppression was the only thing that I could turn off. And hopefully, let's see if I can. What's weird is I have the ability to adjust your volume, but I don't have the ability to allow you to speak or anything along those lines. Okay, let's take a look at what you're seeing here. Yeah, it's a permission issue. So it's really, and I guess I don't have the credentials to grant you the permission is what it comes down to. So I'll speak with Sakib after today's AMA, and I'll see if he can grant me those superpowers on the server so I can let you guys speak. My apologies about that though, guys. All right. Okay, you want me to turn my suppression back on? Does it sound terrible now? Okay, let's go here. And I'll go back to crisp. Yeah, the hissing in the background is my laptop fans, which get all fired up because I'm running so many things simultaneously. I'm running a VPN, I'm running a remote desktop, I'm running streaming through Discord, and I'm running, recording via my local laptop. So it kind of stresses everything out and gets the fans whirling. Does it sound better now? Oh, we just caught a mosquito too. That's what that big zap was. Okay, fantastic. Glad that it sounds better. You guys may be wondering kind of what are my thoughts on where Bitcoin is going to go. So I thought I may share that with you guys. Did it change on your end? Yes, okay, it did. We're in an ABC correction pattern right now. I honestly think it's going to go to about 51,000, which would be perfect. Because if we look at the profit sharing, right now at 61,000, anything less than an S19 Pro is not profitable. But if we go to like an S19 Pro, we won't go to a J Pro. We'll just go to like a regular Pro. Let's go to a Pro 110T because there were like many of these machines. But if we go down to like the 51,000, we can see that those machines will not be profitable. Now you got to understand, there's a lot of folks that aren't paying 5.5 cents. They're paying 6-7 cents. I mean, 5.5 cents is an exceptionally good rate for hosting. So there's going to be a lot of folks that are going to be unplugging if we get down to the 51,000 region, which is where I think we're going, 51,000. And I think we'll get there probably by the end of May. Yeah, that's what it's looking like to me. If we stay on the same trajectory, the same momentum that we've been going. Another thing too to look at is the RSI for the weekly. It got pretty high, flew pretty close to the sun. So it'll be nice to get a good deep reset of that, so we can then continue an upward trend. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing for that. And yeah, that's about all the things that I have to share with you guys. Like I said, with Roop's project, I'm doing everything in my power to talk directly with landowners. Now, you got to understand, these landowners, they've had damage to their properties too. So they're not really available for me to, chit chat and talk new business. They're trying to take care of and repair their farms and get their plants, keep them from dying and replacing machines that were damaged and things like that. So it's really quite a pickle, and I appreciate everybody's understanding. It is a natural disaster. There were literally billions and billions of dollars worth of damages done, in personal properties alone. That's, your Lambos and your Mercedes. By the way, guys, for the next, I'd say year, don't buy, don't buy any Lambos or Mercedes or anything like that, or Ferraris. Stay away from any of those things, because odds are, I think they could possibly be, especially if it's a good price, that could be a flood vehicle from over here. So I don't know if you guys know much about the car biz, but what they'll do is they'll kind of let them sit for 6 months, a year. They'll fix them up, make them look really nice, brand new, shiny. Like if you look at it visually, you can't tell anything's wrong, but you're going to be buying a lemon, because especially with the sands and like the high mineral content that we get in the water, it's just as bad as if it was a saltwater flood vehicle or something like that. I mean, saltwater flood is probably about the worst kind of flood damage you can have, because it immediately corrodes any kind of medical or metal contact or electrical contacts and things like that. So stay away from any good deals on Lamborghinis and Ferraris for about a year. That should clear them all out, and then go in and buy one. All right. Yeah. Does anybody have any questions? Anything they'd like to know about? I know Rebel's kind of chatty. Aaron, do you have any questions? Okay, Aaron's driving, so that's dedication right there. You can drive and still attend. Yeah, we can take a look at alts like Ethereum. Let's take a look at Ethereum here real quick. I don't know if you guys can. Hopefully, you can see my ETH chart. I think I've got it on a weekly. Yeah. So interesting about Ethereum is that even though Bitcoin reached a new all-time high, Ethereum did not. And I'm getting a little bit concerned about Ethereum's. Well, first of all, what's important to note about Ethereum is that there is no limit on how many Ethereum can be created. Like, it can be created into infinity and beyond. And Ethereum is more of a utility than it is, like an actual spendable currency. So if Bitcoin's considered a store of value, Ethereum is not a store of value. It's not considered a store of value. What it's considered as is a utility, and it's a utility that's a gateway into all these other ecosystems, right? Like these games, these NFTs, these apps and things like that. Like eventually in the ecosystem, you have to get Ethereum and then change it to a level 2 or even a level 3 network, and then you can do these super fast transfers and super cheap transfers and things like that. And so it's hard to say what its value is, because its value is based mostly, at least right now, primarily it's based off of Web3. So the better Web3 does, the more crazy things that happen with Web3, that's when we see ETH go crazy as well, right? Because you'll usually need Ethereum to do gas, for transactions, whatever you want to do into these, Web3 sidestep projects. So for Saqib, that's how he's living right now. Like that's his retirement. He's making a killing off of all those things. So he would probably be better to advise about altcoins and ETH and things like that than me. For me, I just there's too much hype out there. Like I see too many charlatans in the Web3 space and the ETH space. I mean, let's just take Monopoly as a perfect example. How many different mining projects? I mean, how many of them came out there? I can count maybe 8 or 10. And that's just for, crypto mining. I mean, think about all the other things, the games and the Horde and all that stuff. I mean, what's going to happen is eventually the general public is going to get wise to it, and they're going to stop putting money into it. Eventually people are going to figure out these are all just BS. These are all just, people that don't have real ideas, that are just building up all this crazy hype. And the roosters will come home to roost. And I think then that's when I'm going to be buying in some ETH, because I think ETH is going to tank when that day comes. When it comes, I don't know, because it just seems like everybody believes BS these days. Every other day, I see somebody either in the monopoly free parking channel that's almost like shilling another project when I tell them clearly it does not have the fundamentals. I don't care if it's got a pretty dashboard. I don't care if this guy, looks super legit. I don't care. It does not have the fundamentals. It does not show the fundamentals. And unless it shows me those critical elements, I'm not interested in it. It's just pretty words and platitudes. And eventually, the rest of the world is going to become wise like me, and they're going to want to see, reality, and not be thinking moon, moon, moon all the time. And yeah, when that happens, where's the money going to come from for everything? Where's the money going to come from for ETH and all these different chains and all these different altcoins? I don't know. Well, they say there's a sucker born every minute, Rebel. You think this will happen when hell freezes over. And I kind of agree with you. Yeah, there's a sucker born every minute. And it seems like ETH and these altcoins are preying off of the suckers and not off the smart people. But, let's just kind of look at the technicals, all right? Let's give a quick look at that, right? You can clearly see, look at this volume, guys, through these times, right? Tremendous amount of volume. But even though we had a new all-time high with Bitcoin, look at the volume now. It's tiny in comparison, like a quarter. Like even at its lowest volume, I mean, it barely did a blip, right? And what does volume tell you? Volume tells you just the general consumer interest, right? The higher the volume, the more people that are transacting, the more people that are involved with things. The lower the volume, the less people that are transacting and interacting with the currency, right? And so when I see low volume like that, that's telling me that we all know a ton of people got burned in the last market. We know a ton of people got burned through the bear market. So it's going to take some real heavy BS and some hardcore people to media spin and influence to build up that audience of suckers again. to start pouring their money back into it. That's what I'm seeing from a technical analysis. Ethereum itself is neutral. Ethereum is not the problem. Like I said, Ethereum is a utility. It's a gateway to get into all these other things. So I like Ethereum. I hope it becomes more of a transactional currency and less of a utility. But it's been set on the utility path for quite some time, so I don't see that changing anytime soon. In comparison, let's take a look at Bitcoin, which I'm seeing a lot of hype on. Let's take a look at its volume. Yeah, so you can see very distinctly in the last bull run, we got a huge, influx of volume here, and you can see that in this current uptrend, we also got volume up. So that's telling me a lot more people are interested in Bitcoin than in Ethereum at the moment, because the transactional volume is there to support it. Does that make logical sense? Can you guys see the little lines that I'm drawing? Hopefully you can see them. I know, Aaron, you're driving, so don't look. So yeah, I mean, that's what I think about Ethereum. I keep my eyes on some other things as well. Interestingly enough, it looks like what is it? USTC, which was linked to Luna. It looks like it's doing a rebound. Luna looks like it's doing a rebound. These are kind of long game coins that I'm playing on because I do see a transactional utility, or I want to say like a monetary transactional function with these coins. And if they can just work out the stock market crash kinks, which I think they will do eventually, I see a lot of potential in the Luna and the US, what is it, USTC, Luna Classic UST space. So let's look at, we've got Flux. You know, Flux is something that Sakib has made a lot of money with, and it's on a downtrend. Let's see. Let's do Flux. Let's do, what is it, Cadena. Cadena is another one that's like everybody's crazy about or was crazy about because it was something that was making crazy amounts. Oh, wow. Ooh. Is that the real coin? KDA? What's the symbol for Cadena? Maybe I put in the wrong symbol because that looks horrific. Oh, Cadena. Okay. Yeah, it is Cadena. That is it. Let's look at Cadena. Yeah, Cadena is yeah. Ouch. Yeah, if you guys were mining Cadena, you got wrecked. What's the other one that starts with K? There was the Cadena miners, and then there's a, oh man. Whew. Caspa. Okay, yeah, let's look at Caspa. Let's see. Cast to USD. Let's do. Huh? There's not even like some major exchanges. It seems like. So let's look at KuCoin. Cast KuCoin. Yeah, I warned people. Like I know Fire Hustle was promoting the crap out of Caspa, but I was like, yeah, get out. I told people to get out right about here, and then it did this crazy bounce. But look at it now. There's just not enough history. There's just not enough history to give any kind of reliable technicals on it. Let's look at it from a daily and see if I can see more through these moving averages. Yeah, it's got a death cross, guys. It's got a death cross on the daily through the 100 moving average. If you guys, yes, if you guys know anything about the markets, you've got the golden cross and you've got the death cross, and the death cross means that you're going to have like a big crash, like a big bear market, and it's right in the death cross right now. The daily is about to cross the 100-day moving average. Let's take a look more closely at this here. Yeah, the cross will happen in approximately 4 or 5 days. I don't see good things happening for this from a technical standpoint. This, again, it's not financial advice or anything like that. Technical standpoint, I don't see good things. The RSI, here's another disturbing thing. The RSI down here, guys, has been like very lackluster. It's not taking any kind of terminal direction. It's not going down and it's not going up. And then you add the death cross on that, yeah. And look at the volume too. Oh, volume. This volume speaks volumes. Okay, you know what this tells me? This volume tells me is that all the players, they're out, and these are all the suckers that are holding it. All right, so these are all the guys that for whatever reason just didn't get out, or they're going to be diamond hands or something like that. But they got a long ride. I'm not going to say how long, but all indications with the death cross and that they're going to be holding on to it for quite some time, and it's good. If you're able to do that, like I am, with the lumens, the Luna Classic or whatever, hold it 4 or 5 years. I don't care. Um, but if you were one of those guys that were like, to the moon or whatever, and you put, your $5,000 life savings in this, yeah, you better go get a second job because you're not going to see that money back anytime soon. Anytime soon. Um, yeah, I mean, the volume speaks volumes to me. That tells me basically all the heavy traders, they're out. So that means no big buyers. No big buyers means no uptrend. Um, it's just going to keep going down and down and down as these the weak hands of the holders let go. So we've got Cadena, which is a hot mess. We've got Caspa, which is a hot mess. Any other altcoins you guys would like me to look at? Be happy to put in any of your suggestions, give my evaluation. Okay. Even Rebel has gone silent. I think that's a wise thing. Rebel says, I will only touch Bitcoin miners after being educated by you. It's where all the institutional money is. You can see it clear as day. Just comparing Bitcoin to Ethereum, if we look at we got Ethereum here. Yeah, if we look at the volume, we've got an uptrend in volume with Bitcoin, and we've got a slight uptrend with Ethereum, but it was pretty lackluster. So that clearly tells you where the market is and where the interest is. And a lot of these things, I mean, these altcoins, you can make a lot of money if some big influencer, you know, turns it around, comes in and says, I'm putting 100,000 into this. And the season is coming. We're not there yet. We're in the post-halvening correction, which Sakib and I predicted, and this is exactly where it's going. And things they'll look pretty abysmal. It'll look almost like the bear market is coming again. And that's when, lots of people will start to cash out, and the wise people will buy back in and hold it. Something that's interesting that I'd like to point out is, why is Bitcoin price being driven down now? Do you guys have any ideas about that? Yeah, I think June and July is when we're going to see, well, let's see. Yeah, I think June and July we're going to see some sideways action, and then after July, the bull. And don't do anything. Don't sell any, just hold. Hold and hold and hold for the bull. No, it's not market manipulation. What it is it's simply this. Let's go back to the calculator here. I'll pull this up for all the YouTube watchers. You got 1 megawatt, and their power cost is pretty good, 5.5 cents. That's a good power rate. They mined $33,000 at today's current price. Well, okay, let's go back. What is today's current price? It's like we'll say 61,000 is what it's at right now. I can manually type in the number, but yeah, let's get out of these pro units and let's go to just garden variety S19. Right? We'll go to regular S19 95T. All right. They mined half a Bitcoin, which is worth 33,000 in today's market, and their power bill is 35,000, which means that they have to pay $2,000 out of pocket to keep mining. And so what's happening is the majority of everything that is being mined right now, like 70%, the majority of the coin that's being mined, guess what happens to it? Well, more than 70%. I want to say 70% of all the miners out there have to spend 80 to 95, even 99% of their coin just to pay their power bill. And when all that coin goes to the exchanges and it has to be sold, the buyers want a lower price, right? So the buyers that are buying it up will buy it only at a lower price. So they have to sell at a lower price. So all these coins are being thrown into the exchanges so these miners can continue to pay their bills. And this is why we see the dip usually, either just before the halvening or just after the halvening. And it's because these miners are now struggling to make ends meet. And so what happens is they eventually unplug. When they unplug, then all that coin that was being dumped into the markets to drive the price down lower, that's no longer happening because they're out the game. So we get all that coin because we're the only ones left standing. We're the only ones mining. So we get all that coin. And we don't need to liquidate, a vast amount of that coin to pay our power bill. We get to keep over 90% of what we mine. And so that means there's now a shortage of coin on the market. And that's what starts the trend of the next big bull market. Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah, the only way the big players are manipulating the market, and again, I can't reiterate this strongly enough, is that they have multi-million-dollar operations that have multi-million-dollar power bills, and they're barely breaking even. All of the Bitcoin that they mine, they have to pay to the exchange and liquidate just to pay their power bill to keep running for the next month. So it's not an intentional manipulation. It's just a causality. It's the facts. It's the way things work. And eventually they're going to have to shut off. And when they shut off, they're going to stop dumping coins onto the market for sale. When coins stop dumping on the market for sale, supply and demand, shortage of supply, demand goes up, the price goes up. We're going to reap that benefit where these big institutions, they can't because their power rate is not cheap enough. Does that make sense to everybody? Right, we've got this other guy. Yeah, the force is strong with one. Yeah, May the 4th is tomorrow. So happy May the 4th to everybody. May the 4th be with you. Hope everybody had a great week. We had some struggles this month. Last month and this month. The past 3 months have just been absolutely horrible weather with a lot of, flooding and things like that. The UAE is strong. It's bouncing back. It's bouncing back quick. Can't tell you. Again, I wish I could tell you guys. I wish I could say, power company said it'll happen in, this many weeks or this many days or whatever. But nobody's given solid answers. And I don't think it's reasonable to kind of pressure them or push them into that because this is their first time dealing with this too. If you've never done something, how are you going to know when things will be back to normal? You're not going to know it. It's not reasonable to think that way. But I do want all of you guys to know, and I do want Rope to know, I'm doing everything I can every single day. And who knows? Maybe tomorrow, maybe Monday, I'll meet that landowner that's ready to go. And he's like, hey, this guy, here's another thing that I want you guys to consider. A lot of the mining farms in this area, the way they're mining, and I know this for a fact, is they're mining as a hosting service. Okay, what does that mean? That means that the people that actually paid for the power upgrade and that are running and operating the farms, it's not their miners, right? It's other people's miners. Miners, people from the UAE, people from the GCC area or whatever. And I know for a fact they're not running first generation. They're running second generation, M20s, M30s. These things at 5.5 cents, which is what they're charging, by the way. Guess what? They're not profitable. So what's going to happen to all these operations when they can't get their clients to pay the power bill? when their clients are like, I don't have enough money to pay for my hosting fee this month? Can any of you guys speculate what will happen then? Okay, no. Nothing but cricket silence. Well, let me tell you what'll happen. They're going to default, and there may be a possession situation going on. There may be a lot of trouble going on with the owners. You know, maybe the people that own the miners are going to go after the people that own the farms, and there might be lawsuits and maybe things like that. But my guess is that a lot of these guys are going to maybe want to dump their farm, right? Because they're going to be overstretched, because they're not going to be making much money either. Yes, I feel a disturbance in the force as well. So I'm anticipating in the next 4 to 6 weeks for a lot of these guys that got into this and they were charging 6-7 cents power rates. They didn't know what they were doing. They're probably barely scraping by as it is. They're going to probably want to get out. They're going to default, and they're going to want to liquidate. And guess who's going to be ready to snatch them up? That's right, me. So one way or another, I foresee I foresee power becoming available, whether we're doing it through the normal regular construction engineering channels, whether I'm doing it through the landowner's trusted electrician or contractor, or whether these guys that are running, some of these guys are running pretty big operations, like 4 or 5 megawatts, and when they get upside down and their clients can't pay the power bill or refuse to pay the power bill, then they're going to say, I can't afford this, or I can't keep doing this, or I need to sell this, I need to get out from under this. So one way or another, I see things turning around for all of us, and it may be a blessing in disguise, guys. I've already told Roop that how many ever days past March 30th, or maybe it was March 1st. It had something to do with March. I said any day beyond this, I'm just going to extend your lease. So you're not going to lose it in any kind of lease time or anything like that. I'm going to do everything in my power to make things right, but there are things that are beyond my power, which is Mother Nature, acts of God, natural disasters. I cannot control these things. All right. The municipality and the utility companies, they are overwhelmed trying to recover and repair the damage and restore normalcy. How long will it take them? I don't know. They're doing everything in their power. They're hard workers, guys. They're doing amazing things. There was a road that going to the farms, there was like a mountain of sand that had washed over that road, and within 2 days it was gone, like it never happened. You can still see it all piled up on the side of the road. It's pretty neat, right? And even our farms, we shut down before the heavy rains came. The Grand Canyon is starting to be built. I shared the pictures with you guys. I walked down in it. It was above my head, and this was done in 1 day's worth of raining. That much erosion. These things, they're all being worked on 24/7, nonstop. But I cannot tell you, I cannot give a timeline how long it's going to take. I will say that in the next 4 to 6 weeks, just because of the nature of what's going on, people not being able to pay their bills, things like that, there's definitely going to be some farms put up for sale. And I'm definitely going to snatch them up. And if we don't have, Roop's project up and running in the next 4 to 6 weeks, then we should have it there, because that should be pretty much turnkey. Like, I should be able to just put the miners on the shelf, plug them in, and get rocking and rolling. But that's all I can tell you guys for right now, because there's just things that are beyond my control. Things that are within my control, we submitted the load request. They said we've got to upgrade the transformer at the substation downline. Let us upgrade the transformer, then resubmit your request. We resubmitted the request, and then this terrible rains happened. So, it's not really logical to expect them to upgrade a big substation transformer. It's not on the top of their list, because they're trying to get other people up and running and operating. I appreciate everybody's patience. I appreciate everybody's understanding on this. It really is something that is just completely beyond my control. and we'll make it right. Just hang in there. We'll make it right, guys. Especially if you guys come online, if his project comes online when everybody else in the world unplugs, that's when you're going to see some major rewards when the difficulty goes down and things like that. So it may all be perfect timing and a blessing in disguise. Just be patient, hang tight. We're doing everything that is humanly possible, and even some things beyond that. I'm not religious, but I'm starting to pray to God recently. So I'm doing literally everything that can be done, pulling on it. You know, it doesn't hurt, right? Even if you don't believe, what are you going to hurt if you pray to a God you don't believe in, right? It doesn't hurt anything. But yeah, hope you guys are doing great. Hope you had a great week, and hope you have a great weekend. And I'm going to sign off now. And yeah, hope to yeah, if any of you guys have a direct line with God, please tell him to stop the rain. Just, it's not even desert anymore out there. I love Dubai because it has the beautiful sands. It's not, it's all just bushes and grass now. It doesn't look anything like what I like. I like driving off road in the sand. It's really fun. But now there's too many bushes and stuff growing. It scratches my car and everything. I can't do that. So if any of you guys have a direct line with God, please ask him to make the rain stop. We don't need any more. It's a desert. It's meant to be a desert. We like it as a desert. Everything works smoothly as a desert. With that being said, May the 4th be with you guys. Have a happy May the 4th. Have a great week and weekend. And I will see you guys next month on Friday. Have a good one.